That is Cirrus SR Series number 10,000. It represents the best that we are today and celebrates an aircraft's history-making story that's worth pausing for a moment to share with you. It's a story that began in the shadow of monumental challenges and even some failures, each overcome one at a time by a dedicated team that ultimately achieved historic aviation success. It's a story that began like this. 1998. Despite the overwhelming challenges of funding a startup and a big idea, we certified and rolled out the very first model SR-20, a product that set out to make simple cool and render flying complexity as a thing of the past. The SR-20 revolutionized personal air travel with a lightweight composite airframe. In fact, the 20 was a pioneer in airframe composite manufacturing. Inside was a cleaner flight deck based on new concepts like ergonomic side yokes and a multifunction digital display. It was thoughtfully designed around, well, people, with a spacious, comfortable, car-like cabin. And, of course, the innovation that made all the big headlines, a first-of-its-kind, full airframe safety parachute. The SR-20 was a total aviation paradigm shift, a product that customers didn't even know they needed, but were delighted when they saw it. First delivery. That hangar's still there today. We called in the press, our first happy customer flew away, and the world took notice.
There's a new plane with a radical innovation designed to give a pilot a second chance.
Dubbed the plane with the parachute by the press in 2001, flying high on the 20's popularity and taking somewhat of a big risk to secretly develop almost in parallel to the 20, well, we announced the next big step. The SR-20-2. 300 horsepower. Faster, higher, farther. The story kept rolling, and before you knew it, 1,000 airplanes delivered. Soon, the SR-22 became the best-selling high-performance single-engine piston aircraft in general aviation, but we were only getting warmed up. As the interior was refined, so too was the flight deck, as the SR Series led the industry by introducing to general aviation the concept of a glass cockpit. Big screens, sharp graphics, moving maps, digital instrumentation, personal flying would never be the same. But challenges remained: high costs of new, industry-first, hard-to-source parts, and a complex, ever-evolving symphony of brand-new supply chain and build processes. But through the challenges of a maturing manufacturing process, the innovation continued at a fevered pace. G2 added a fluid system for in-flight icing escape, XM satellite weather and music, in-flight traffic and terrain alerting, and new exterior and interior design options. With our first generational change in G2, we quickly learned that while you introduce new features, you've got to design and set the table for new features that are 2 or even 3 generations out. Don't box yourself in, always leave room to add and innovate. G3. With pilot and passenger experience on the forefront of every design decision, in 2008 we announced a special partnership sure to revolutionize the SR Series again by introducing the Cirrus Perspective by Garmin flight deck. Because of new features like electronic stability and protection, a more automated airplane would now begin to assist the pilot. Following soon after, a huge announcement. The anti-icing system was significantly upgraded to a FIKI, Flight into Known Icing system, enhancing all-weather capabilities to allow our customers to plan their flights safely on purpose through the ice to complete more missions. Then in 2010, higher, faster, farther again, as we unveiled the Cirrus Aircraft SR-22T turbocharged model. Then a quick pause and a special design to celebrate our 5,000th delivery, after which we made it a 5-passenger ride by adding a middle back seat, nicely setting the table for G5. We added 200 additional pounds of useful load, and that was huge. Customers could carry much more thanks to engineered weight reductions and structural airframe enhancements, based partly on engineering work that had begun as far back as G2. Then we rounded out the generational feature enhancements with USB ports, tubeless tires, ADS-B in and out, FlightStream wireless connectivity, and an angle of attack indicator for enhanced pilot stall safety awareness. The SR Series continued to lead the industry, and the story rolled on. One more pause and a tip of the cap to 6,000 SR Series aircraft, and then G6. Now the product was mature. It was time to refine. In G6, we introduced the upgraded Perspective Plus flight deck. Faster processing, more capabilities, so many more features. Then we made a visual statement in the form of an all-new intelligent LED lighting system, a big enough update to give it a cool name, Spectra. Then on to refining the ownership experience. We made it so phones could talk to the plane with Cirrus IQ. That means status, maintenance, trip logs, all on your phone, with you, wherever. Oh, the places I've flown, would say each and every customer. Then we focused on flight performance by literally streamlining the airplane to reduce drag, adding up to 9 more knots of speed. G6 was the ultimate personal travel vehicle. 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. Time flies when you're inspiring people from all around the globe to begin flying for themselves. And then, G7. Cue the big reveal. Where should we fly it? Manhattan? Of course. G7 was peak Cirrus, the most comprehensive SR Series interior update ever. It was the stuff we dreamed of doing with the SR Series while we were busy working on the Vision Jet. That's right, a jet. Okay, but G7. Touchscreen controls with even more automation, closer and closer to what feels like an onboard digital co-pilot, and an entirely new cabin with more car-like comfort and convenience. G7 was another huge step forward for everyday single-pilot, I-fly-myself, personal aviation. Simple had never been cooler. Complexity had never felt more distant. When you think differently, you design differently, and then different, exciting things tend to happen. And just like that, one more delivery to one more happy customer, and 9,999 plus one, that's the story of 10,000 SR Series airplanes designed, built, delivered, and supported. And this is how we celebrate every last customer, employee, and human being who's ever dreamed of flying for themselves. Thank you for 10,000. What a ride.
Well, parachutes work for people. Why not planes?
It's an absolute delight to fly a plane like this.
We've reinvented airplanes and reinvented transportation.
It's beyond exciting to reach this milestone. It's a proud moment, not just for the Cirrus family, but also for our customers.
When you fly for yourself in a Cirrus, everything's in reach.
So cheers to an epic milestone. Now here we go again.